In his 2004 State of the Union address, President George W. Bush famously once said, "This year, some 600,000 inmates will be released from prison back into society. And we know from long experience that if they can't find work, a home, or help, they are much more likely to commit more crimes and return to prison. America is the land of the second chance, and when the gates of prison open, the path ahead should lead to a better life," end quote. President Bush's words ideally sound promising, compassionate, simply put, beautiful. However, his words require clarity, because as a convicted felon, I hear them quite differently than someone who does not have a criminal conviction. On October 2nd, 2012, I was released from the Carson City Correctional Facility in Carson City, Michigan, after spending over 17 years behind bars. I went in as a 17-year-old kid. I returned as a 35-year-old adult. It has almost been 11 years since my release, and God knows I've been doing my part to be a productive member of our society. For example, I'm here at Wilson Park doing a TEDx talk. How much more productive can I be? I have not reoffended, nor have I had any police contact other than minor traffic tickets. I wake up every day trying to show myself approved and to be recognized like every other American citizen, all to be invisible because of my felony conviction. I would love to send my daughter to college if she can't get a full scholarship, buy a home and a new car, also take my wife on her dream vacation to Bora Bora. But I have to live as a second-class citizen in the country where I was born. So the likelihood of most of my dreams becoming reality are just that, dreams. America is not the land of the second chance. Let me repeat myself in case someone heard me clearly. America is not the land of the second chance. In fact, she's quite the opposite. She's the unforgiven to convicted felons. Of course, convicted felons coexist in a lot of spaces as the first class. According to criminal conviction statistics, over 80 million Americans hold a felony conviction. The problem is, convicted felons can't coexist or live in totality in these spaces with the first class. They won't allow it under any circumstances. The reason why they won't allow it is because they don't believe that people like myself with a felony conviction can change. And they love to use data and statistics to support their beliefs. Well, let's look at some data and some statistics from a different vantage point to get a different perspective. According to the United States Department of Justice, over 10,000 people are released from prison each week. That's some 650,000 ex-offenders each year. And out of the 650,000 ex-offenders that is released from prison annually, 2/3 will be rearrested within the first 3 years of their release. The million-dollar question is, why do ex-cons reoffend at such an alarming rate? Well, according to prison policy, 27% of ex-cons is unemployed within the first year of their release. According to CNBC, 64% of males in their 30s with a felony conviction is unemployed. 5.17 million Americans could not vote in the 2020 election because of a felony conviction. And if you have a felony conviction on your record, in America, you are denied housing. In his 2004 State of the Union address that I mentioned earlier, President Bush said when the gates of prison open, the path ahead should lead to a better life. My question is this here. How can the path ahead lead to a better life when every obstacle in the path was placed there intentionally? Of course, in the past, there have been some criminal justice reforms, but most of them of very little significance. Most laws regarding criminal justice reform are institutional based and have nothing to do with when an ex-con is out of prison. In September of 2021, the United States Department of Justice released a special report entitled The Recidivism of Prisoners Released in 24 States in 2008, a 10-year follow-up period from 2008 to 2018. And in their report, they found that persons released from prison in 24 states in 2008, 82% was rearrested at least once within this 10-year period. But they also found that the annual arrest percentage declined over time, with 43% of ex-cons arrested at least once in year 1, 29% arrested in year 5, and 22% arrested in year 10. So my thing is this here. If 43% was arrested at least once in year one, that means that 57% was not arrested in year one. And in year 5, 71% was not rearrested. And in year 10, 78% was not rearrested. To put this in a nutshell, the longer an ex-con stays out, the likelihood of them reoffending drops significantly. But that's not talked about in the media. It's always talked about them going back. Now, when we look at that, and I'm going to say the old saying says, when men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. And since the numbers that we looked at actually came from the United States Department of Justice, let's take those numbers and actually form a system to the road ahead to a better life could actually be achieved. If America wants to truly eliminate second-class citizenship in America amongst its felony population, then let's seal criminal records after 10 years of not getting in trouble. Through real federal and state legislation, this could be accomplished. Let's seal criminal records like we do medical records with only the courts having access to them. Here's the flip side of that coin, because I know people like alternatives. If you violate by another felony conviction, then your record is known permanently. This gives every convicted felon an opportunity to really shoot at life or have a future ahead of them that can actually be promising. No longer being judged on your felony conviction and also living the American dream. So, in my closing, dear America, would you be more comfortable living next door to somebody like myself with a felony conviction that can't find stable work, can't find a decent paying job, living in their mom's basement, teetering back and forth from trying to be a productive citizen and also the street life? And what they did was they recognized that you just bought a 70-inch flat screen TV and put the box on the curb. Or would you prefer, America, to live next door to somebody with a felony conviction that is living the American dream, paying taxes, paying a mortgage, raising their children the way they're supposed to be raising their children, being a part of the very fabric in which America was founded on, which is freedom, justice, and equality, on their way to entrepreneurship? Think about it, America. This is the better way that I believe that America can be great. America can raise its standard by making sure that every American citizen is equal regardless of the mistake that they made in the past. This is my sincere prayer. My name is Corey Frazier. I thank y'all for listening to my talk. I'm just a kid from Flint, Michigan. I pray that all y'all have a blessed day on purpose.